Primetime Sports, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSsports.com, Big G TV, streaming video, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches for decades. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's. We'll sit down with the coaches to talk about their most recent games and the matchups ahead. Now from WGNS and Big G TV, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the first Saturday of fall break, the first Saturday of October. Today being the fourth day, I think. Yes, fourth day of October. And we do have the Coaches Show here for you today. A programming note that we will be off next week. So we always do the Saturday leading into fall break, and then the Saturday after fall break, we make sure we take off. A lot of the coaches are out of town as well, and the kids out of town, and parents, and doing what they need to do to get refreshed and ready for the three-game slate that ends the regular season of high school football. Yeah, that's what I said. It is coming up on us pretty quick. Last night, not a ton of games, just two. And most of the games were held on Thursday night, 6 games on Thursday night concerning our local teams. We're going to talk about those on the Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard and look ahead at the Week 9, October 17th schedule. Again, no October 10th games for Rutherford County. So we take you to Thursday night, and it was on WGNS and Big G TV, the Blackman-Stewart's Creek game, with the Blaze winners 35-7. Got up 28-0 and went on to win that one 35-7. We've got that archived, by the way, on our website, wgnsradio.com. If you go to Podcast and Prep Sports, you can listen back, download, and even watch on Big G TV the coverage there, or head to our YouTube channel. Best thing to do with that YouTube channel, by the way, is go on there and at News Radio WGNS on YouTube, and like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and then spread the word about Big G TV as we're doing coverage there as well. So you can watch back that game, Blackman and Stewart's Creek. Oakland was a winner over Rockvale, 35-14 on Thursday night. It was Riverdale, a victor, 31-13 over Smyrna, tied 10-10 at the half. I think Riverdale scored a touchdown, and Smyrna answered with a field goal, and then Smyrna went on a roll after that. Clarksville 20, Siegel 7. It was Kirkwood, a winner over Laverne, 40-9. And Clay County downs MTCS 30-20. Last night, PCA over Christian Community 42-14. And in our second broadcast, we had back-to-back nights this past week. Eagleville Eagles 34, Moore County 7. So that is a look at the scoreboard. We do have the archive, both audio and video, of that Eagleville game as well, website and Big G TV. In that game, Eagleville game last night, Jonathan Jordan, 15 carries, over 230 yards, a couple of touchdowns, very active on defense as well, 7 tackles for him there, and just had a tremendous night. So we're going to make him our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known. That's SRM Concrete. Coming up next week, again, no October 10th Friday games. And then when we return on the 17th, no Coaches Show next Saturday morning. Then on the 17th, it's Riverdale versus Siegel. We'll be over at Phil Watts Tomahawk Stadium to bring you that game. Blackman will host Smyrna. It's Oakland hosting the Laverne Wolverines in one of their 3. Laverne's only had 3 road games this year. Eagleville is at Huntland in region play. Rockvale in non-region play will host Tullahoma. Stewart's Creek versus Knoxville Webb. MTCS will travel west to Tipton Rosemark Academy on the 17th, and PCA, that's Providence Christian Academy, will play Providence Academy at home at MTSU. That's weird, isn't it? But that's what it is. PCA and Providence Christian. PCA and Providence Academy. Our slate of coaches this morning, and host, Bill Hockenberry is going to lead us off with Riverdale, Smyrna, and Blackman conversation between now and 9:45, and John will take over to take us through Laverne, Oakland, Stewart's Creek, and Rockvale, and then I'll be alongside for Eagleville, then MTCS Cougar Corner at 11:15 this morning. It's time to kick things off on WGNS Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Big G TV. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Hey, Rutherford County sports fans, from auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more, trust your local State Farm agents. Celeste Middleton, Ron Reeves, Emerson Williams, Alex Williams, Dana Womack, and Andy Womack. This powerful team lives here, works here, and are your neighbors. They're ready to help you manage everyday risk, recover from the unexpected, and realize your dreams. Contact Celeste, Ron, Emerson, Alex, Dana, or Andy for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we treat your vehicle like it's one of our own. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
Been coming to them ever since he opened up. Good family. I recommend other people to get them repaired here because I knew they would do it and do it right. Been happy to send people to him because I trust what he does so much.
We're crazy about him. It's all about the doctor.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
Kenneth Barrett is a leader who serves first. After nearly 3 decades in uniform, he knows how to listen, mentor, and build trust. And that's why he's running for Rutherford County Sheriff. He'll lead with integrity and genuine respect, putting people first, building unity, and ensuring deputies and the community feel valued. His mission is simple: to serve with confidence and competence every day.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff. I'd appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff. Treasurer, J.M. Stewart.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
I've always been a big fan of auctions. Get instant sale, no contingencies.
That means the sale of your property won't depend on an inspection, financing, or appraisals.
I've known the guys over there my entire life.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Parks Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan Friends Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan Friends Concrete. And we are joined this morning by Riverdale head coach Will Kreisky. Good morning, Coach. Coming off a big 31-13 win over Smyrna.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a battle. We preached to our kids all week, how physical this game was going to be, and it was. It lived up to every bit of it, and physical is 10-10 and a half. And the kids came out and played hard. We made some mistakes early on, but I thought overall, as a complete game, I thought our offense played its best game. Defensively, we didn't play as good as we had in the past. Now, we were out some guys. Aiden Emmons didn't play due to a shoulder issue, and Jeremy Thompson played a little sparingly. He's had an ankle injury, so we are a little beat up, but that's everybody. I know Smyrna was beat up, and they had some guys out also, and but Smyrna knows us. Matt Williams did a great job when they weren't in our region, keeping our game going, and Riverdale and Smyrna is a traditional rivalry game. And that's what we always tell the kids. We're going to get Smyrna's best every time we play them. And, Matt Williams has been there for many years, and what he does is he those kids are physical, and they're really good up front always.
Yeah, it is. It's a game the community looks forward to, both communities, and it is a big rivalry. You know, some of the past games with Sunny Great, Smyrna, and some of the great teams Riverdale had, and it was another good crowd Thursday night.
Yeah, it was a great crowd. For a Thursday night game and going into fall break, it was a really good crowd, and everybody was, and like I said, they got to see a good game. 10-10 at half, both teams were battling and fighting. And it was big for playoff implications, and that was we preached to the kids, man. We're not in the playoffs yet, and we got three tough region games left, and so we really needed to get that one under our belt. And I was really proud on a short week. We didn't have our best practices of the year. I don't know if it was coming off a homecoming and just the short week and just a bunch of different things going on, but the kids came, and I was really impressed how they battled in the second half, and the defense struggled a little bit in the first half, but then they came out and played in the second half, and our guys were able to do some really good things, and we were able to finish the game, and that's what I was most proud of, is just seeing how our kids finished and fight all the way to the end, to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. We're getting ready for playoff time, and with that win, now you're 5-2 overall. Now 3-1 in region play. It kind of gets you a good little separation from some of these teams. And I know you got 3 good weeks left to go in the season, and I know that's got to be right around the corner. What you're thinking about? Yeah,
you always got to, with that 18 region that we're in, all of these region games are really important. And just one game can mess it all up, and that's what I keep telling the kids, man. You got to stay focused, and I told the kids even back when playing Blackman, the playoffs have started. It's playoffs started just because so many teams in the region and so many teams are close. I mean, this region is tough from top to bottom.
Yeah, it really is. I think Brian said on our game the other night that it's kind of like the SEC of 6A. I mean, it's just so many good teams, and to make the playoffs, that's a big deal. But I'm going to highlight one of our SRM Concrete Solid Performer of the Week, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. I want to talk about Gavin Hampton. He was 16 of 20 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns, and really led your offense Thursday night.
Yeah, Gavin's doing a great job. He's starting to come in on his own, starting to figure some things out, and he's playing well, and the receivers are meshing well, and I thought they did a good job. He did a great job in the pocket, and then extending some plays with his legs and moving the ball around. And there's just not one receiver that he throws. He gets the ball to all. He distributes to all of them. They do a good job. He does a good job with that and finding the open receiver, and then the receivers catching the ball and making really good plays. I was really impressed with Braylon Burns. He struggled a little bit early on in the season, and now he's getting confidence and coming into his own, and he's playing well and doing the things that he's been coached to do.
Yeah, and you were talking about spreading the ball around. Corbin Reynolds also, 5 catches, 126 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You got good receivers, a lot of different weapons, a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah, Corbin's another guy. He's just quiet and just comes to work and does his job, and he's a big physical receiver, and I don't think people realize, he's kind of tough to bring down, and he'll break those tackles and get those extra yards that he needs. And, he always finds the open window. And then, I think the big thing with him is he's really bought into our strength and speed program, and I think that's really showing as the season comes along.
Yeah, and another offensive performer that really stood out, Jacob Vaughn, 13 carries, 90 yards, and a touchdown. And, I know you got to have that running game to complement your passing attack.
Yeah, and I stay on him because, I want him to get that 100-yard mark every game, and he gets right there. And, yesterday at school he was getting on to me because he said, well, I didn't get that 100 yards because you took me out, and I did. Chris Peters, another guy that rotates with him, he got a lot of carries toward the end of the game, and he's doing well. And Jaden Jones, another senior, got some carries. So he has 2 seniors behind him that come in and just play, and they practice hard, and so they deserve those type of carries, and they deserve a chance to get some reps. And I was really proud of those 2 when they came in and got their number called and did what they were supposed to do.
And so I think it says a lot about your team. Getting up 10-0. All right, Smyrna comes back, ties the game up right going into the half, and that's a point right there where you either got to step up, or it could be a fourth quarter game coming down to the last play and outscore them 21-3 in the second half.
And I really believe just the games we had early on helped us with that. The Knox Catholics, playing those type of teams helps you prepare you for these type of games, and then coming out and playing Blackman early on, and we didn't play our best, but I think our kids learn from those games. And I think that's huge. When you can learn from the games that you lost, it helps you in the future.
Yeah, and I want to, another kid I wanted to highlight here, Miles Weaver, kicker. Perfect. Had a field goal, 3 extra points. And, high school football, a kicker is a big deal, having a good, solid one like that.
Yeah, he's done a good job all year and consistently done well. And, I'm proud of what he does. And, actually I told him, he started to go out yesterday when I was about to leave to kick. And I was like, Miles, just rest the leg for the next few days. Like, do not kick. Rest, and then when we get back to work next week, you start kicking again, because I think he's done a good job, like you said. And I don't want him to overuse the leg. I want him to make sure he's ready and fresh, ready to go for the last 3 games, because he's going to be a huge part in those last 3 games.
It really is. And you talked about it going into this break. This is your bye week, which happens to be coincide with fall break. How are you going to attack this week? When are your guys? How many days are you going to give your guys off? When are you going to get back? And how do you attack that?
So we've always last few years. Just give them the first of the week off, and then we'll bring them back in on Thursday morning. So we didn't do anything with them yesterday, so they had yesterday off and through the weekend, and then through next week, and then on Thursday morning at 8 o'clock they'll come in, and we'll start working on Siegel and getting ready for them, because Siegel, they've played some really good games and beat some really good opponents, and again, they always play us tough. Coach Renshaw does a great job over there, and it's always a battle when we play Siegel, and he has those guys ready, and that's what we told those guys: go relax, refresh, but when we come back, it's back to the grind.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, your next game is not till October 17th, so you got a week off before you have Siegel coming into y'all's place, and another rivalry game.
Yeah, it's big. It's huge. You don't get a break at all, and they're doing some good things. I know they had a tough loss to Clarksville, and Clarksville's a really good ball club. I know they're Isaac Shelby. He's been at Clarksville High for years, and he's done a good job. But, again, Coach Renshaw, those guys are playing really hard, and they've had some really good wins this year. And, it's crazy to say this, but it's our last home game, the regular season home game. And this season has really flown by. This unfortunately for us, due to the scheduling conflict, but this year we had 6 home games, and next year will be tough with only 4. So, this is the seniors' last official, that we can say on paper that their last game they'll play at Riverdale, and so I want to make it special for them, and I want them to be prepared and ready to go.
We expect you'll have a big crowd out there, and the seniors did a lot for your program.
Yeah, I'm like I talked about Aiden a while ago, and Jaron Hall, like all those seniors. I don't want to start naming too many, I'll forget, but they've all been good, and they've been with us, and they're working hard, and again, they know that what the standard is and what we expect, and so I'm really looking forward to those guys getting refreshed and ready, because we've been going at it since right after the dead period, full go, working, and it's been football nonstop. So I'm hoping they use this time to relax, and so they're ready to come back to work and ready, because it's here, like 3 games and then the playoffs, so we have to make sure we do what we're supposed to do, so we can make the playoffs.
And you mentioned this week playing on Thursday night is a little bit different week. How do y'all attack that? I know it's a day, it's just one day. You wouldn't think it'd be that big a deal, but I know as well as high school kids, it's just different. And playing on Thursday and then having to come to school on Friday, how did you kind of attack that this week?
Yeah, it is different. We tried to, you try to keep your. I try to keep the same constant schedule, routine. I'm a routine guy, so we try to do as much routine as possible. Did a little bit extra on Sunday, and then Monday we did a little bit more in practice, add couple extra periods to our practice schedule on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday we did our normal morning practice on Wednesday to keep that same type of practice that we do before games. And it was a little different, and it is tough, but we have to make sure we're very prepared, because unfortunately, the Oakland game, the TWSAA put that on a Thursday night this year, so hopefully we learn from our mistakes, what we did and didn't do right this week, to make sure we're prepared when we have to play Oakland on Thursday night.
That's right, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're going to have another Thursday night game, and I guess you just learn every time that you get to do that just helps you.
Yeah, you try to learn from, you always try to learn and grow, and make sure you're doing the right things to help your kids, and you want to make sure they're prepared and ready to go. And I thought, again, with playing Thursday night and playing Smyrna and playing a well-coached team, the one group we hadn't really talked about a whole lot is our offensive line, and I bragged on them to the team Friday after the game, that's a group we've been really tough on and hard on, and I was really proud of how they played up front. Those 5 guys are coming together, with Dakari King and Eli Clark and, Judd. We got Alex Judd, a sophomore playing up front. He's doing real. Avante Morrison, he's doing great. And he's flying around, and I've really been proud of him. And, EJ's kind of thrown in at right tackle, once Shelburne got hurt. And, speaking of LeBron Shelburne, he had torn ACL, and he had his surgery Thursday, and everything went well. And our prayers to him and his recovery, and we're glad he's doing well. He's been missed because he was our leader on the offensive side.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Game day is coming, and are you ready to represent the Blue Raiders? At Raider Tees, we've got the largest selection of officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear in town. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, even tailgating essentials. You name it, we've got it. No more searching through random stores. Everything you need is right here at 111 East MTCS Road, right across from MTCS. Get game day ready at Raider Tees. Bigger, better, and go blue.
Pizza. You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carry-out or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coach's Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up best smoked barbecue ribs and many local favorites on Warrior Drive. Locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family. And this morning we welcome in Smyrna head coach Matt Williams. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing good. The Bulldogs coming off a Week 7 loss 31-13 to Riverdale. A really hard-fought contest, and it's always a rivalry when you play Riverdale.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game we played, last number of years when we weren't in that region. And, it's always a good game, good crowd. And, I think we did a really good job for the first 24 minutes. And, unfortunately, it came out the second half and didn't do the things we needed to do to win the football game. But, credit to Riverdale. I think they did. They made adjustments and were able to make some plays in the second half. And we just didn't do a good enough job in the second half to win, and something we can learn from.
Yeah, and got up 10-0 on the over at Riverdale, and that's a great start. And had a lot of confidence going into that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were actually up on us. We had to sort of battle back, tied up 10-10, and Score Weathers. I thought A.J. Jackson So we got thrown in the starting role Monday. We practiced Sunday and had some circumstances where he needed to be the starter, and so he started preparing for that on Monday on a short week. And I thought with a short week, credit to AJ, I thought he did a wonderful job, step up for his teammates, and thought he made some really good throws the first half. And Square Weathers made a couple big plays in the passing game, and Yanni Browse had a couple good catches, and thought they did a good job. And offensively, the first half, I thought we battled and did some good things. We were able to run the football a little bit, and in the second half, that sort of changed a little bit, and that's sort of why the outcome was what it was.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned A.J. Jackson. He was 17 of 24 for 150 yards and a touchdown, and also ran for 48 yards. And he is our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. And, you talked about your defense, and it's been pretty solid for you really all season, and really gave yourself a chance. Just didn't get it done late in the game Thursday night.
No, I mean, they found some things second half, and I didn't think our secondary played as good as they have in some other ball games, and credit to them again. They were able to. Their quarterback's a good player. Second half, they were able to find some of their big receivers and make some big plays. And I think that was the biggest difference in the ball game. We had a couple big plays, but they sort of made us drive the football there in the second half, and we gave them big chunk plays and chunk touchdowns, and that's not a good formula on the road in our region. So we've got to find a way in the secondary to do better and to play better. And, I know we'll come back to work this week and rectify those things and make them better. And, I believe in our kids, and we've still got a lot to play for. And, our team's had a lot of adversity this year. And, it's a group of kids that are resilient, that will battle. And, I still believe in this group a great deal.
Yeah, Coach, and you talked about that a little bit, but, I mean, everything's right out in front of you. You control your own destiny. You're 3-4 overall, 1-3 in region play, but everything is right there in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, we got 3 region games left, and obviously we're only worried about the next one. It's going to be a tough one. Blackman's a really good football team, and they've shown that, and we're going to have a great week of preparation for that game. But, there's a lot of scenarios that still put us in the playoffs, and we got to keep grinding and keep working towards that goal. And, I know our group will keep doing that, and they'll come to work ready, towards the end of the week. We'll bring them in towards the end of the week and start back at it. So I know they'll be excited to get back at it after a break, and, I look forward to seeing them again.
And, this week you obviously played on Thursday night and, shorter week. And does that kind of change your preparation a little bit? And I'm sure it probably gets you, a day off or whatever. What do you think about playing on Thursdays? And did that change anything you had going into the week?
I think the biggest thing it does is just it's hard on coaches as far as getting everything ready to go, because we practiced at 4 on Sunday evening and, practiced for about an hour and a half on Sunday to start the game week. And so really what it does, it just it makes the coaches have to speed everything up as far as preparation. And, we were in there Sunday, mid-morning, we were already meeting, and of course our coaches do a lot of work on Saturday too, grading the film and going in and starting to input stuff on the opponent scout film. So it just speeds everything up from that standpoint. But, as far as the practice week, it was a normal week for us, because Sunday just became our Monday and, so forth. And everything was just moved up a day. So I don't mind playing on Thursday. I think it just, like I said, it puts your coaches in a little bit more of a time crunch. And on the weekends, we don't have a whole lot of time for family and all that stuff anyways. And I think it sort of bites into that a little bit. But, I think it's it's a good change up for your kids, and then obviously it helps TWS to play, because it helps them with officials and have enough officials for Friday night. So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just just the way it works, and now coming into your bye week, which happens to fall with fall break, how are y'all gonna try to attack that?
Yeah, we're gonna bring them in. We'll have 2 practices towards the end of the week, and just get their legs back, get them back in the weight room. We'll probably go out and just shirt, shorts, and helmets, and just work on fundamentals, and just work on our base offense, base defense against base looks, and not really start preparing too hard for anybody, but just basically getting them back in and getting their legs back, and working on fundamentals, I think, is the biggest thing for us. And we'll have a lift or 2 in there to get their get them back in the weight room. And I've treated it a lot of different ways. We've done it before. We practiced 3 days during that week, and we've done it where we didn't practice any. But I felt like last year, coming off the bye week, I didn't think we played very well. So we're going to bring them in a couple of days towards the end of the week.
Yeah, that's always a tough trying to figure out how to balance that. During their bye week, also their fall break week. Another part of your team, your kicker, Daniel Aldana, had a field goal and an extra point, and it's been pretty solid for you for this year.
Yeah, actually, he had 2 field goals, and he's a freshman that's a really good soccer player and just a great kid and a good addition to our football program. He's sometimes it's sort of a delicate balance when you get a soccer player to be your kicker because, obviously their number one thing is going to be at soccer, travel soccer. But I think Daniel's really, really bought into the football side of things. And, I think he's just as committed to football as he is soccer. And, it's a great young man we're excited about, and we look forward to having him for another 3 years after this. And I think he can become one of the better ones in the area and just a good kid with a special leg. And I think as he grows and gets stronger through the weight room, I think he's really going to be a really good kicker.
Yeah, and it's always good to have 3 more years of a kicker. That's really something to look forward to down the road. Defensively, Dalen Sanders had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery for you on Thursday night. And talk a little bit about Dalen.
Yeah, Dalen's a special kid, special player. He's a leader. He's a kid that, when I watched him when he was at Rocky Fork Middle, you could tell just a special. Had a special knack for leadership, and he was the guy calling the guys up at halftime and talking to them. And he's a special young man, and he's a young man that lost his father this past year, and he's sort of having to battle through that. Obviously, this is a difficult season for him from that standpoint, but just a special young man. It's fun to be around. Has an infectious smile, just a really good personality, and he's one of those kids that when you get up to go to work, you look forward to seeing him and. He brightens your day, and he's just a kid that's a team guy that's always bought in and going to be greatly prepared. And that's the thing about Dalen, he's going to prepare like a champion. And, it was good to see him have a good game the other night. I thought Jerry Martin did some good things as well and made some big plays, and he's always a factor as well.
Yeah, your defense has been really solid all season and just going to get better as we get ready down the stretch here. Coach, what do you do talking to your team about, possibility of the stretch run right here? You really control, like I said, your playoff chances, and how do you address that with your group?
Yeah, we talk about, what we talked about the first year. I always talk about breaking the season down into 3 parts. You get the first 5, the second 5, and of course you got the playoff 5. Right now in our second 5, we're 1-1, and you just got to try to finish the best you can in that second 5, and obviously the next one's the most important one. And our kids are competitors, and they want to obviously not just get in the playoffs; they want to make a playoff run. And we've got a team that's learning to play. We got a lot of. We're a very junior heavy team. Had a few that played as sophomores last year, but have a lot that are getting their first Friday night experience this year. And I think it's we knew coming back in this region, and I told everybody this, it was going to be sort of a growth year, and a year where we sort of grow up, and that sort of turned out to be what has happened. And we put ourselves on the 8 ball a little bit too. There were games early in the year we felt like that we're sort of kicking ourselves that we didn't win the football games. There was 2 in particular. We lost 2 games by 4 points. One of those was a regional ball game. And if you don't do those things, you're in a different position right now. So we are what we are, and we've earned that. So we've got to battle out of that hole a little bit. And I think we've got a good football team. I think we've just got to do some little things and learn how to put games away and how to be consistently competitive in the second half after playing a good first half and being more consistent in that. Little things like we didn't do a good job. I didn't think there was not a catching kicks, and that's something we've got to get better at, something we've stressed all year, and something we put a lot of work into. We start practice every day with people catching punts and kickoffs. So, our kids got to make sure they buy into that and doing the little technique things that make those things successful. So, our kids will come back, and our kids are competitive, and they'll look forward to a second half stretch run, and I know they'll be excited about it.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach, and good luck, and have a good little fall break, little rest, and rest up, and get ready for your next game on October 17th against Blackman. Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, I'll do it. Yeah, thank y'all for having me. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Coach. The Coach's Show is brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
Since 1989, Franklin's Printworks has been Rutherford County's trusted partner for high-quality printing with fast turnaround and unbeatable service.
We love to do stuff for the community, for churches, for schools, for nonprofits. We love to get involved with them and partner with them every time we can.
Jeff Carlton with Franklin's Printworks.
People know my name, they have my cell phone number, and they can be confident that we'll make sure it gets done right.
Visit printworkstn.com. Franklin's Printworks, print local, print with confidence.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're catching up with Anne-Marie Brents at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, another one of our great local businesses.
Yeah, it's a big family business. Knowing that my grandparents started it, to see it evolve and what it is now, it's just been really cool, and I love it. It's just something I'm very passionate about, and customers have been great to us as well.
Whether it's a quick meal, feeding the whole family, or catering, Rick's Barbecue can handle it all.
It's really something I'm really passionate about, very blessed and thankful for.
Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
Each team knows which play can be the winning move. I'm good neighbor State Farm agent Celeste Middleton, and I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about combining your home and auto insurance. Call me at 615-895-2700, and I can save you time and money.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm agent Dana Womack. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-900-0877 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. And we're back, and we welcome in Blackman head coach Matt Kreisky. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Pretty good. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Big win on Thursday night, the big 35-7 win over Stewart's Creek to improve to 6-1 on the season and 3-1 in the region play.
Yes. You know, we challenged kids all week to start fast and get going fast. Felt like we did that. Started the game out pretty quick, going. Had some things go our way. Both sides of the ball. You know, Rylan Odor had some big catches in the first quarter. Him and Javion connected some big plays. Defense was flying around. Was causing problems for them. Created a turnover that first drive. Got a fumble recovery. And then at the end of the first quarter, Jaden Gowan had that pick six.
Yeah, it was a really, really great start, getting up 28-0, and you know that's a rivalry game. And I don't know if a lot of people understand that, like how close these kids are to each other, and a lot of them grew up with each other, played ball growing up with each other, and that's always a rivalry game.
Yeah, they play youth sports growing up. They know each other. You know, with some of these games you can tell how close these kids are because after the game, you know, they talk for a minute after the game. You can tell their friendships and them knowing each other. So yeah, it was a big game. You know, since I've been here, the Stewart's Creek Blackman game has been a rivalry game. You know, we were very fortunate. Some things happened early for us to get us going. And as you can see, you know, once Stewart's Creek settled in, you know, it was the second and third quarter was a battle. It was a defensive battle. Both teams defensively, I thought, played well. They made some adjustments, and I thought they did a great job figuring out some things we were doing and coming after us on certain situations. You know, and they really exploited us in some areas offensively. So we found out some things that we need to fix and improve on as we head into these last three games.
And you could tell, I could tell your guys were ready to get back out there after a tough week the week before. You could just see they were ready to go from the opening kickoff.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna sit here and lie or anything. Monday was tough for him. It was probably one of the hardest Mondays that I've had since it's been coaching. You could tell the guys were still really down. We all were kind of upset about our performance and what we did the week before. But like I told them, man, we got to move on. There's a bunch of teams that's lost a game during the season and finished really strong. So how are we going to respond? How are we going to handle this reverse adversity? What are you going to do in life when you get knocked down? Are you going to stay down, or are we going to get back up and fight and find ways to get better, find ways to improve? And so I thought, as each day went on, it was a short week. I thought we had a better Tuesday and a better Wednesday, and then Thursday morning, our morning lift, I thought was great. The energy, you could tell, finally the kids were like, here we go, it's time to play another game, and let's move on. And so I was worried all week. Thursday morning, once we had that lift and I saw the energy, I told Coach Crosby after the lift, they're back. I feel pretty good about tonight going in, because I was worried about our energy and how we were going to respond.
Yeah, and I think it started, Javion Elliott, and really, really great performance for him. 7-11, 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed twice for 83 yards and a touchdown in a 35-7 win. And Javion is our SRM Concrete solid performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. But Javion's growth, and I got to see him when he was a younger player, and you can just see, the mental side of it. He's really starting to grow up.
Yeah, and he's doing some things offensively when he sees things, making some adjustments that he wasn't making early in the year, and so he's like you said, he's a great kid. He's starting to develop some leadership. And he's, we've got I believe we got 4 receivers that out there that he can connect with, and they can score at any time. I was really impressed. Bronlin made a great catch, that first catch.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it was an unbelievable catch that he made. And was able to score off of breaking tackles. That tells you what type of player he is. So we got to find more ways to get him the football. And then the second touchdown, just going up high, pointing that football, and scoring a touchdown. The defensive back he was going against, was pretty much just as tall as he was, and he was able to jump and high point the ball and score. But our other receivers, that do a great job. Bryson Mitchell, each game he has 2 or 3 catches, so he does a great job. Kari Dixon has had a big year for us, and then even Max Wilcox, man, those guys, we can spread it out and get each one of those guys a couple touches each game, we'll be fine. And then in our red game, Micah Nance and Jabari Kemp will do a great job. So I think as we move forward in the season, Javion has developed a relationship with each one of those guys, and it's gotten better as we've gone through the season. And so we've got to continue to improve and get better. And then you look on our defensive side of the ball, man, those guys defensively flew around Friday night. We had some young guys come in that really stepped in, that really stepped in and didn't realize they were going to play as much as they did, and some sophomores that came in and played and had a great night, and that says a lot about our defensive staff, the development that they do with those young men. They came in and without, nobody was nervous, nobody was uptight about these young guys playing on the defensive side of the ball, and they had a great night. I'll give a shout out to Amari Sanford, man. He had a great night.
I mean, I was impressed. I was really impressed with the defense. Multiple guys flying around the ball. There was always pressure in the backfield. And then Jaden Gowan getting the pick and running it back. I mean, that's another big play in the game.
Yeah, and this young man's come off a knee injury last year, and he's gotten really better as the year went on, and so he made that pick and made a guy miss and then scored a touchdown. We were really excited for him, and he's one of those kids that does everything that you ask him to do. In the classroom, on the field, in the weight room. So it was great to see a young man like that have a great play.
And, sometimes coming off a loss, sometimes the best remedy and the best thing you got to go through is you got a rivalry game. And those kids, and Stewart Street was going to give them their best shot. And your guys were just ready to go.
Yeah. We came out ready to go. And, and it was they were ready to get that bad taste out of their mouth and move on and move forward, and we did a great job responding in the first quarter, and their energy was there. So I was a little worried about it, but they did fine, and they were ready to go.
I wanted to just talk about one other guy that really impressed me is your kicker, Braxton Bentley. He kicks the ball into the end zone pretty much every kickoff. He was 5 of 5 on PATs. That's another weapon for you. Yeah.
Braxton does a great job punting for us. He's made some punts here in the past couple of weeks that have been really impressive. Him and Tyler Bourne-Boza, they swap in and out, so they share kicking duties, and they're both great. They're both a huge weapon for us. Special teams are huge, and that's one of the things that we put a big emphasis on. And then when like you said, when you got a kicker that can put it in the end zone every single time, that's huge.
That's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to attack this the fall break? I know you had a weird week last week. You played a day early, and you had to start a little bit earlier getting ready for Stewart's Creek. Now you attack or go right into fall break, and how are you going to attack that?
Yeah, well, we did, lifted and did a little film yesterday morning, first period, and then we gave them off the rest of the day when they were out of school. We'll be off until next Thursday. We'll practice Thursday and Friday. We'll start installing our game plan against Smyrna Thursday and Friday, and then we'll come back and have a full game week starting on Monday. And so it's a huge game. These last 3 games are huge. You look at any 3 of those teams on the schedule. It's what Rutherford County football is about, man. If you want to get into high school football, pay attention to these last 3 weeks in Rutherford County. It's going to be exciting. All these games in the county these last 3 weeks are huge for the playoff implications, and a lot of things can change. I mean, there is a lot, top to bottom, there is a lot of good teams in our league, and it's really unfortunate and disappointing that some of these teams that are good, I see them on film that are good, and they're going to miss out on the playoffs. I don't want to say it's fair, man, but it's not fair, because I feel like our 5th and 6th teams could probably go somewhere and win a playoff game.
No doubt about it. And there's a reason why, you talk to all the coaches, around, they call this the SEC of 6A football.
Yes, and you see it, and these last 3 weeks are going to be a battle. So we got to be ready. There's no just going through a week of practice. There's just going through the motions, because if you go through the motions, you're not gonna have success on Friday night, and you probably come up on the wrong end. So we've got to get back to work on Thursday and Friday, and then starting the following week and get ready to play.
And you mentioned it a little bit, 3-1 right now in region play, in a good position for this stretch of 3 games. And I know you take it one game at a time, but I know you said it a little bit, but how do you really get that across to your guys? We got to have these 3 games going down to the end.
Yeah, and like I said, our motto, we've been focusing on one game at a time. Every week, our goal is to go 1-0. So when we start Thursday, we're going 1-0. The only thing we're worrying about is Smyrna, because that's our next challenge. Once we go through that week, then we'll focus on Siegel the following week. But going into fall break, our main focus, the coaches are we're already starting preparing and working. So we're working on Smyrna now, and that's all we're worried about right now is Smyrna.
And that's what you have to do. Another great week for the Blaze. Coach, good luck. Have a great fall break, and we'll see you when we get back.
I appreciate it.
All right, that was Blackman head coach Matt Kreisky. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car, professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com.
The frustration many are feeling is real and justified. Kenneth Barrett said that after the county commission denied raises for deputies this year, and as sheriff, fair pay will be a top priority.
We need to figure out how we can get ours comparable to other agencies and start communication with the county commission to try to get less steps at a higher percentage.
With nearly 30 years at the sheriff's office, Barrett brings servant leadership, accountability, transparency, and fairness. Learn more at KennethBarrettForSheriff.com.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, J.M. Stewart Treasurer.
Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them, 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com. John Dinkins is back with you. Well, I'm here for the first time, actually. And we've got Laverne assistant coach Chris Johnson Jr.
Yep.
And you know what? That was easy. You know, you kind of have the same name as the coach.
Yeah, a little
so
bit.
You're related, right?
Yes, sir.
And I found out something about you. You're a Riverdale graduate and played at Middle, and so you know this area really, really well.
Really well, yeah, like the back of my hand.
Yeah. Now, I know Dad is a really good speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that about him, and you've tagged along with him for what, 20 years now? 21?
Yes, sir. Yeah. 22.
22.
Yeah.
I guess the first thing I want to mention is, how has the relationship worked with you guys, being father son and coaching on the same team, and he being the head coach and you be the assistant coach?
Yeah.
I would think he probably talks to you. You know, it's got to be that he talks to you a little bit more than he would maybe the other coaches at points, or does he? I don't know. How does he handle that?
Yeah, I mean,
and how do you handle it?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird dynamic because sometimes when you come home, you just want to rest. You just want to go to sleep because I just moved back in. We're talking football. We're just talking football, and sometimes we butt heads as far as like coverages and different assignments, different stunts and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's been fun. And then teachers in the building as well, they ask, like, how is it working with your dad? How is it coaching with your dad? I was like, honestly, it's been the most fun experience that I've been a part of. So, yeah, it's definitely different, but you know, you have your pluses and you have your minuses as well. So
most father sons go fishing, or they, they go play golf together. Yeah. Do y'all do any of that, or is it pretty much football?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have our moments where we go bowling, but we're all competitive. We're trying to win. Like, we both don't like losing. So yeah, we do some fun stuff as well. But when it's time to get in between those lines, we know where we stand. So.
Now, Will Kreisky was your head coach at Riverdale, and for 4 years, I suppose, or 3 anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of you kind of know the county. I mean, and the other teams and tendencies that they have. Is your father and Will, are they similar, or do you find a lot of things similar in both of them?
Yes, they're similar in the way they love the game.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Kreisky, that was one of my favorite coaches growing up. And I told him that as well. And he's been very helpful throughout this process as well. He was like, if you need anything, call me. If you need anything, text me. He's been very helpful throughout this process, especially this being my first year and this being his first year being head coach as well. But yeah, their love for the game, the way they approach the game, I think they're very similar in that aspect. Like, they don't want to leave any stone unturned. They just love the game. So I think they share that similar mindset as far as approaching the game. So
emotional kind of coaches too, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they really get involved in it, don't they?
Yeah.
But I do know Will enough to know that he has got to be beaming with pride because he talks on many occasions. You know, we're creating men. We're not necessarily. It's not all football. It's creating good young men, and you definitely qualify for that. So I know and I'm sure he tells you that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just the same thing at Laverne. You know. It doesn't show on the scoreboard right now, but for the most part, you know, we've had students who are getting in trouble all the time. Players have been getting in trouble, you know, class clowns, and now we're in week 7, and now we got teachers coming back to us saying they're one of the best students that they have in their classroom. So it's definitely just impacting young men's lives and trying to change their lives for the better, and also getting them exposure as well. You know, some of the students, you know, they're just staying in Laverne for the most part, but being able to take them on visits to different college campuses, I think just small steps at a time, I think that's gone a long way for our football team. So,
you know, it's amazing what the sport will do for kids, but it teaches several things, you know, discipline and that kind of thing. What did the game teach you? I mean, I know you got good parents and you were raised right, but what is the game meant to you as you were growing up?
It's crazy because at first I didn't really want to play the game because I was like, it's too physical. I don't really like all that.
Let's go basketball. Let's try b-ball.
Yeah, I actually was a basketball player. Yeah. But you know, growing up, getting stronger, getting faster, getting quicker, I was like, okay, maybe I could be a little bit good at this. But for the most part, it just taught me perseverance. You know, not everything's gonna be a win. Not everything's gonna be high all the time, but you know, being high and low, steady as it goes, never changing, staying consistent. And actually, my senior year of high school, after I played my last football game at Riverdale, I told my dad, I was like, I don't even want to play anymore. Don't even want to play more. He was just like, stick with it for 1 year. So just being able to persevere throughout any situation, any circumstance, I think the game of football has kept me that way throughout life as well. Whether that be a car breaks down or, you know, I lose my girlfriend. Well, I ain't lose my girlfriend. She's sitting down. But any situation that I ever go through, I think it's taught me to persevere well. So,
how did you get approached about this job? I mean, it's not unusual to have a father-son, but a lot of times that just doesn't. It's just not in the cards.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Did he approach you, or did you go to him and say, Dad, hey, I'd love to help you?
It was kind of both. So, you know, I played my junior year at MT, and, you know, I didn't really know if I wanted to keep playing or, you know, stick it out for one more year. And he gets the head coaching job. And he comes in, he asked me, he just planted the seed. He was just like, hey, I mean, we got a DB spot. That's all I'm saying. That's all he said. We got a DB spot. So we just go out. November passes. December passes. And he was like, no, seriously.
So he hadn't said anything to you up to that point until December.
Because he got hired in November. So he was just like, hey, I mean, I was serious about that. So I weighed the pros and cons. And I was just like, you know what? I want to go build a legacy at Laverne. So I was like, let's go do it, Pops. And they posted it around, I think it was December-ish, January-ish. And we haven't looked back since then.
And knowing your dad I haven't known him long, but knowing him this short period of time, I just got a feeling he would have been okay either way. Yeah. As long as you were happy and doing what you want to do, right?
Yeah, he would have.
We're talking to Chris Johnson Jr. and the defensive back coach for Laverne. And I guess we need to talk about Laverne just a little bit, don't we? But I did want to get a rundown on you because I got a feeling we'll see you again here on this show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Wolverines, we know the record, and we know, and I've talked to your dad a couple of times, and one thing he doesn't lack in is confidence in these kids, and he really believes in them. And I think and you saw turnarounds in the classroom, and you got off to a lead the other night on Kirkwood, and it was 9-7 at one point. Is it consistency that's part of the issue in terms of the wins and losses? Are you looking for more of that?
Yeah, I think it's consistency, and then later on in the end of the game, it's lack of discipline.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll start off good, and then we'll have penalties. We'll have turnovers. We'll just have timely mistakes that really kill us. But it's not a lack of effort. I think for the most part, our guys give effort. They're there for the most part. They're in tune with the game. It's just timely mistakes that are killing us right now. So,
and one thing I think sometimes too, when you have a young team and a team that haven't experienced a lot of winning, you've got to learn how to win, right? I mean, that's a big part of it. What does it take to get over the hump? And a lot of that is that maybe you have a bad third quarter or you have a real good fourth quarter. Just trying to put all that together, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it after we had went up a couple scores. They thought they won the game. Like, we were jumping for joy. Everybody was jumping for joy. They thought they had won the game. And that's been the same instance in about 3 of our games. So, of course, it's getting over that hump, because I think it was the past 2 or 3 years we haven't won a game. So, getting over that hump and like you said, learning how to win. Okay, this is how you maintain a lead. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep playing. You can't have mistakes. You can't have mental bust. So, just being able to maintain that lead and stay consistent within your keys, within your concepts, being able to throw the ball, run the ball, tuck the ball, protect the ball, not turn the ball over. These are all things essential to winning games. So I think as soon as we get that consistency level up here to where, okay, now we can win this game and we can maintain this lead, or even if we're behind, to go get the lead. I think sometimes if we get down by a certain amount of points, kids kind of, their mindset changes. Their mindset changes. Not that they're not giving effort, but they're just like, what are we out here doing this for? So I think just changing the mindset, changing the culture, I think that would go a long way in terms of getting us to win games. So
it's a real mental battle, isn't it, sometimes? And I think, too, when you sit there and you've got a lead or you lose the lead, it just seems like in their mind everything snowballs, doesn't it? I mean, it's just it's a battle. I mean, you're battling yourselves as well as the other team. But I know on the bright side, we have a young man that we're going to honor today as our SRM Concrete Solid Performer. And we talked about him off air here a little bit. Isaiah Welch, tell us a little bit about him.
He scored our only touchdown. He had about 6 or 7 tackles on defense, and he had a pass deflection that led to an interception by our defensive tackle, our big 300-pound defensive tackle. So, I mean, he does everything that you ask him to do. He's fast, he's electric, he's quick. I mean, I can't say more about him. I'm proud of him. They call me like the big brother because I'm not as old as the other coaches, but they call me like the big brother. And I tell him all the time, man, I'm proud of him. I love him. And he's just our workhorse. So
that's Isaiah Welch, the SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally what? Okay, and nationally known SRM Concrete. Okay, I'm having trouble reading a little bit today. Those are little bitty words, and I'm an old man. All right, thanks, Isaiah. We appreciate you being here this morning, and tell your dad hello. And y'all got anything planned for fall break? I know you'll be practicing probably later on in the week.
We'll be practicing on Thursday. I'm pretty sure every team has said that. We'll be practicing on Thursday and just being ready to get back to work. And that's the main thing, defensively, tackling, offensively, just executing. So.
Sounds good. Yeah. And but enjoy the few days you've got.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. It's been a pleasure, and I'm glad I got to meet you.
Yes,
sure
sir.
Did. Isaiah Welch is our SRM Solid Performer. locally grown, nationally known. I just had to make sure I got that right. Thank you, Dalton. Coming up next, I think it's Oakland coach Kevin Creasy here as we continue with the Prentice Awesome Heating Air Coach's Corner, brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to the First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services.
This is a paid legal ad.
I'm attorney John Day. Many lawyers are quick to say that they'll take the insurance company to court for you. But how do you know if the lawyer is an experienced trial attorney? Ask them if they're certified. In order to be certified, you have to have tried a lot of cases, taken a 2-day test, and get recommendations from judges and other lawyers. My wife Joy and I are both certified as civil trial specialists, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
I'm Ian Young. I'm at Las Casas Feed Supply. I'm selling beef and pork, 100% Angus, raised here in Las Casas. Come get you some.
Everyone's favorite cuts available, even options to purchase a quarter of a steer.
We got the beef. Hello, everybody. Las Casas Feed Supply.
Family owned and operated, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East.
If your job situation is changing because of layoffs or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One important decision may be what to do with your retirement plan. Make sure your retirement stays on track. I'm Lee Colvin, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I'd like to help. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for a face-to-face appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Life's too short to stress about insurance. That's why Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance is here to make sure you have the right coverage without all the hassle. He'll work hard to provide you with personalized service and finding the best solutions for you and your family. Whether you're looking for auto, home, or business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. Let him handle the details so you can focus on what really matters.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Like a good neighbor, Kevin Creasy's here, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots, and you know, the world was shocked. I've just got to tell you, the world was shocked that somebody scored on Oakland. How many? Is it 20 quarters or something like that? I don't know if you keep up with that kind of stuff.
I'm not sure. I know that
CPA scored 14.
Yeah.
And Rockville scored 14. So credit to Rockville. I think it was a lot of what they were doing more so than what we were doing. I thought they had a good plan. I thought Coach Counts did a great job. He's doing things right over at Rockville. I think he's doing a heck of a job. And those guys played hard for 4 quarters and, gave us a run for our money and, did a lot of good things offensively, defensively, and special teams. Had 4th and about 16 one time, and their punter pulls it down and gained 16 and a half. And next thing you know, that leads to a score. So we lost a lot of times on 4th downs. They had too many 4th down conversions. They had a 2-point conversion that I didn't really like that much. I was disappointed in. And then, of course, we threw an interception that gave them the ball pretty close to our end zone. So, to their credit, they took advantage of it and, did a good job of, fighting back after we score. First play of the game. Opening kickoff, we returned for a touchdown. So our guys started good, and like I said, those guys from Rockville fought back, and that's a reason why I think Coach Counts has got things going in the right direction over there.
They do. They've got a kid out there, the receiver. I think Chiz is his name. He's the real deal, and got him doing the right things. That's for sure.
Yeah, he did a heck of a job against us. He had over 100 yards receiving against us, and I think he was the punter that pulled it down and ran for the first down. So he's a heck of a player, and their quarterback. I thought he played well. I think he's hurt a little bit, but played through it. Just a tough kid, Hamby. He completed a lot of passes and did a good job of running their offense.
I want to talk about your offense. Justice Haggard had 5 carries, 103 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and added 2 interceptions. I think a lot of people, when they look at Oakland, they think, well, they're playing just offense or they're playing just defense. But Haggard's one, Tut's one.
Yeah.
They all play both sides of the ball. Maybe not every play, but a lot of times they're playing offense and defense. And,
we've got about 4, maybe 5 two-way players. Everybody else plays pretty much one way. So, keep those guys kind of fresh. But, every once in a while we'll, still Tut or Justice Haggard or, some of those guys on offense. And, they really like it when they get the ball in their hand. They're pretty explosive guys. And, Joel Wyatt.
Yeah.
He's a heck of a defensive player, but he comes over and plays receiver some for us, and he had a big touchdown catch. The two-way guys, it's just tough to be a two-way guy as a young guy. But some of these guys are, experienced and, 18 years old, just grown men out there able to handle it and, able to learn it and, able to get through practice and going a bunch of snaps in practice, to learn both sides of the ball.
Well, you had Giovanni Malone had a 94-yard kickoff return, opening part of the game.
Yep.
And as a coach, you love that, but as a coach, you also go, that was too quick. You know what I mean? It's like.
No,
do you worry about that?
I don't ever say that. I'm fine with opening the game up with a touchdown. 9 seconds into the game, I think it was like 7-0. But you worry about how a teenager's going to handle a big win at Blackman.
Right.
A short week. You got a short week. You got homecoming. You got an opponent that those guys looked at the schedule and was like, oh, well, we beat this team, and then next thing you know, we're playing a team that beat them, and all that stuff. Ultimately, it still comes down to how you going to execute, how you going to play, how you going to block, how you going to tackle. And I thought it was 2 good teams out there playing the other night.
I think you made a good point there when you said you don't know how 16 or 17-year-olds going to react. And I think that's what's so special about high school coaches. You're in college, you're a college coach, you're a pro coach, whatever. They're not dealing with that same young mentality that you're dealing with.
No doubt. And so that's what, you got to deal with. I've got a couple freshmen out there, 14, 15-year-olds, and they're out there starting for us.
Yeah.
And, so we always got to keep that in mind. These kids were just playing middle school ball, big fish in a little pond just a year ago, and now they're thrown in there playing grown men, you know what I'm saying? So, credit to a couple of our freshmen that are playing, and we got 3 other sophomores that start for us on offense. So this team's a young team.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize it. Some of our guys that get all the credit, they're older and they've been in Oakland, making touchdowns and all that. But some of these younger guys are the guys that are in the trenches, making big blocks, making big tackles and stuff like that. That, a lot of times they get overlooked.
I think one of the key ingredients with Oakland and your success with the team is the fact that you do play a lot of guys, and you don't mind playing younger guys. I mean, the only way they learn is to play.
That's right. You got to throw them in the deep end, see if they can swim, and a lot of guys get those opportunities, and they can show us whether they can play or they can't play, and a lot of times, it's whether they can or can't play in practice. So, there's times that we spread it around. I think Friday night there was about 9 different people that touched the ball, and nobody got over 5 carries, stuff like that. But, we were putting our best foot forward, trying to beat a region opponent. And, that's what we try to explain to everybody. It's one of those deals. Every region game's as important as the other region game. And so I give our kids credit. They weren't hung over and, didn't use homecoming or something as an excuse. They came out ready to play.
Yeah. I want to talk about Travion Jackson, who is our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known, SRM Concrete. Tell us a little bit about him. I know you read some stats here. They're unbelievable. I know he had 15 tackles.
That's right.
5 for loss. What kind of dominant? I mean, that just changes an offense's whole game plan when you got a guy, I call him a man-child, running in there and disrupting everything.
Yeah, Trayvon's older brother played for us. He's now, a starter at linebacker at Tennessee Tech. But Trayvon has been kind of overlooked. People don't know a lot about Trayvon. He's not too flashy. He can go down and put his hand in the ground and play D-line. And our stats are by JoJo Freeman, so they're accurate.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
JoJo has given Kyler, my son, -3 yards one time for taking a knee. So he's going to do it by the book.
That's awesome.
So ultimately, there's no fluff. Sometimes you look and you see a linebacker has 22 tackles that game, and 200 for the season. No, Trayvon had 15 tackles, 5 for loss. He recovered 2 fumbles. He forced 1 fumble. He had a sack. I mean, he had everything you'd want as a defensive player, and it's understandable why y'all would name him player of the game. And he just made such an impact. I think Rockville had 31 rushing attempts. We made an effort to make sure that we stopped the run. They had 31 yards. So 31 attempts, 31 yards. You can do the math on how many yards per carry that is. And so big part of it was Trayvon Jackson.
Really a great play in that game anyway, for sure, and a steady influence. He's a man-child. I mean, I don't know how to explain it anymore. I want to ask you something that I've been meaning to ask you. Your defensive line and your offensive line, they're not big. I mean, they're not really big. I mean, I've seen you go up and stack up against some teams that look 3 times bigger than you guys.
Yeah.
What's the secret? How do you do it?
Well, I tell you now, I give it to our O-line, D-line. They got guts, because if you just look at the kids from Rockville, holy smoke.
Yeah.
Those 3 down linemen, they got 3 down linemen that are as big as anybody we've seen. And you look at the O-lines we've been facing, nobody has a bigger offensive line than the cats we saw from West Virginia or CPA. So every week we go in definitely looking up at people at the coin toss. What they don't have is size a lot of times, but they need to use, their quickness, their technique, what gifts they do have. And, the biggest thing is, like I said, guts, toughness, a mindset that, hey, it doesn't matter how big this guy is in front of me, I should be able to block him, or I should be able to get off a block.
Well, Coach, you've got a week off, or not really a whole week, but I know you'll be back in practice probably Thursday or so, Wednesday or Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yep, we'll practice tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. Okay, and do you give them some time off during fall break, a couple of days? Or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going to have a bunch of days in a row that are off, and we're going to get a couple of days of practice in. But, you know, after a while, we think they need a break from us. We need a break from them. You know, we want them to
heal up a little bit too, I guess.
Yeah, they got to heal up, you know, and ultimately we want to come back re-energized, you know. They need a little time off, get their legs back under them, you know, get their mental focus back where it needs to be. You know, it's pretty stressful playing these region games week in and week out against good opponents. So, you know, they need a little time off. Coaches need a little time off, you know.
Amen, yeah.
And so it's good for us, good for both the players and the coaches.
Well, I hope you have a good one. I know you got Laverne coming up next. We're getting close toward the end, the final stretch drive.
Yep, November.
It's hard to believe it's been that fast. All right, that's Coach Kevin Creasy. This portion of the show has been brought to you by SRM Concrete, the largest ready-mix producer in the county, or the country. Wow. Yet still family-owned and operated. I'm really having trouble reading today, guys. I'm really,
The county and the country.
Yeah. I'm going to let you read this next time. Locally grown, nationally known, SRM delivers unmatched quality and service. SRM Concrete. You call, we haul.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
I just really appreciate Danny and his whole team. I always feel like I'm going to get great service and the right outcome.
You just don't find any better people.
He's always been very good.
We've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
Kenneth Barrett will bring positive change as sheriff and connecting more with the community, celebrating the hard work of deputies, and using technology to improve communication. After nearly 30 years in law enforcement, he knows the value of teamwork, transparency, and public trust. Now he's ready to create a department where people want to serve and stay.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, Treasurer J.M. Stewart.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's has a team of experienced auctioneers and realtors who make selling your property simple. Whether you're selling your home, farm, or have an estate to settle, auctions are easy, fast, and profitable. You don't have to worry about the hassle of updates, repairs, or showings, and you'll receive multiple offers on auction day.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name. But there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Raider Tees isn't just about t-shirts. We've got jackets, scarves, polos, hats, even jewelry and home decor. Everything to show off your Middle Tennessee Blue Raider pride. Whether you're headed to the game or just want to represent the Blue Raiders every day, we've got you covered. Literally. Come check out our exclusive designs and unbeatable selection at 111 East MTCS Road, right across from MTCS. Raider Tees, bigger, better, and go blue.
Pizza. Murfreesboro's favorite pizza is now hiring at all 3 local locations. That's right. We want you to join the Sir Pizza team. Stop in at our East Main, Veterans Parkway, or Memorial Boulevard locations and let us know how you'd like to join the Sir Pizza family. Also, we've made it even easier to order for carryout or delivery. Just head on over to sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
This portion of the Coach's Show brought to you by JHA Company, Josh Houston and Associates. Jewelry, letter, jackets, yearbooks, graduation products, and more. That's what they do at JHA Company. Online at jhcompany.com. John Ding is back with you here on the third round, I guess you'd say. We've got Bill Caudill, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks. And before we get started, I just want to say that I know you're looking forward to a few days off. I hope you're going to take a couple of days to spend time with those kids.
Yeah, I definitely am, and was able to, for the first time this school year, pick them up from school yesterday, which is
that
nice.
Not a blast?
Yeah, it's a big deal. And
did you get in the right line, in the car rider line?
Hey, I went and got out of the car and got them in person.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
So,
were they? I'm sure they were tickled, weren't they?
Yeah, they were excited, and it's nice to be able to do that, and always take them to school on game days as well, which is something that is I've always done, and I'm a quality time guy, so anytime we can get together is always really special for me.
Well, they must have overslept today because you usually bring one of them up here, and you kind of split time with them. So, but that's great. I know you've got. We talk about the game, and it seems like it was so long ago now. We know it was a Thursday game. Blackman got off to a really quick start on you guys. But the defense at times really held up. I mean, they're very solid.
Yeah, I thought our defense really, starting with really the second quarter through about halfway through the fourth quarter, really played well. And I don't think we really made Blackman earn it at all. Second play of the game on offense, we, fumbled a little toss play, and then obviously had a pick six on our third possession, which was really frustrating. And then they, threw a fade ball on about 3rd and 12, and we had our big long corner, away from, Brylan O'Dore, their big receiver. And so that was, I felt like very frustrating, where we didn't have the matchup we needed to have in that situation. I think to your point, our defense really executed, I think, the game plan pretty well, which is trying to keep their quarterback in the pocket. There in the fourth quarter, we had two coming free off the edge, unblocked, and he made them both miss, and scampered for, I think, about 89 yards. And so he's a really good player. And outside of that play, I thought we really executed what we wanted to do defensively. But I think the third or fourth play too, we had several missed tackles, and O'Dore went for a touchdown, and didn't play well start to finish, in any on offense or defense, and obviously you got to give Blackman a lot of credit for that.
But that middle section, I mean, it was a battle, and you guys were battling hard.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention, I know R.C. Davis, because I saw him get banged up a little bit and limping.
Yep.
But he goes around and, let me just tell you, he passed for 74 yards and rushed for 43, and one of those was a touchdown, I believe, that he scored on, limping. I mean, really. That's guts. I mean, that's what you want to see in a guy, and he threw a pick six, but, to rebound from that, I know that's encouraging down the road.
Yeah, R.C. is a phenomenal young man, and he's, been he was a starting receiver for us, and he was our backup quarterback, and obviously he's had to, jump into, that role. And, I think the one thing as a young quarterback sometimes that's hard to learn is, you don't necessarily have to go out and win the game. Sometimes you just have to, keep us out of bad situations. And I think that's something that I need to do a better job of continuing to teach him is, you don't always have to force something. You don't always have to, try and thread the needle. If you don't know what to do, hey, I'm always open. They can't guard me on the sideline. And, but he tries so hard, and he's a team leader. And, I definitely am very proud of, how he competed, especially there in the fourth quarter. He kind of got a little bruise there, pretty bad bruise, honestly. And, but he's a tough kid, and he's a competitor. And Jonathan Hadley was able to jump on that punt that they fumbled, and we were able to, get one in the end zone there late.
Speaking of Jonathan Hadley, he is our SRM concrete solid performer, locally grown, nationally known. That's SRM Concrete. And Jonathan had a night now, had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery. And to tell us a little bit about Jonathan, a little bit of the background.
Yeah, so Jonathan's older brother, Zach, actually coached, my first year, 2019, at Stewart's Creek, and he's serving our country in the military now. So it's a great family. His mom in the past has been on our touchdown club, and Jonathan's been patient and waited for his senior year for a chance to start at inside linebacker. And to me, I really think those are kind of a dying breed. When you don't hear anything negative, and you just got a team guy that is willing to be patient and wait for their opportunity. And he's one of those on our team that has the heart of a senior and plays his guts out, and we're all very proud of him.
What kind of, it just shows you what kind of character some of these kids have. And I think they get overlooked. I mean, a lot of times with the flashy, let's go do it. He carries his lunch pail every day to work, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he cares about his community, he cares about his school, and I don't know. I just to me, he's kind of a throwback, an old school guy in this, era of high school football where it's all about me and my brand and those types of things. And Jonathan's one that is definitely a joy to coach.
Ben Cauldell's our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks. And Jade McKnight, I want to mention him. He combined for 83 yards rushing, receiving. He had a good close to that game as well.
Yeah, Jaden, kind of had an opportunity there with, some things that took place during the game to come in and carry the ball. And he also caught, 1 or 2 as well that extended some drives for us. Jaden joined our program towards the end of last season around the playoffs from Ezel Harding, moved into our zone. And you never really know, John, when your opportunity is going to come, and you got to make sure you're ready. Jaden certainly one I think is going to have some more opportunities moving forward.
When the season started, I know you've got a little different look, a little different ball club than you had when you started because of some injuries. Are you still going through an adjustment period with them, or not with you and them, but themselves? I mean, I think they have to learn, I've got a new role here now. I've got to step up. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. That doesn't happen overnight a lot of times.
I think we are still going through an adjustment period, and some of that is obviously having a new quarterback, but also I think it's just several of the people around the quarterback that have experience, haven't been, healthy either, and so that's, I think putting a little bit more stress on the quarterback, and on our offensive line, and so but here's the thing, everybody's dealing with it. I know Blackman, one of their better defensive ends, was not, didn't play the other night, and we've got kind of a string of those guys on offense that we need to do everything we can to try and get them healthy for the stretch run.
Fall break's coming up. I know you'll probably give them a couple of days, but you'll get back on the field probably later on in the week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think definitely some time off is much needed, and not just for our players, but for the coaches as well. You really go through the summer, routine. And, when you start school, it's really a, I think 100-mile-per-hour sprint until you get to fall break, until you get to the bye week. But
reintroduce yourself to your wife, and
yeah, and so I think it's just good to keep creativity fresh, and so but yeah, we'll bring them in here later in the week, and I don't think it's healthy to go a full week just with not having your neck and other things acclimated to hitting and tackling and things like that. So but definitely excited about the opportunities our team has when we come back.
Yeah, I mentioned coaches' wives. You've got a real good one, and most coaches do have great wives that understand. But you try. I know you do. You try to keep that family up there in the number one spot as much as you can, as much as you're able to do.
Yeah, I think anybody that gets into coaching, had a coach that really helped shape and mold them in their formative years, and I'm very blessed to definitely have had that, growing up, and at the end of the day, if things aren't right, at work, it's going to affect things at home, and if things aren't, where they need to be at home, it's going to affect things at work, and that's why I always challenge, especially our young coaches, is love your spouse, value the time with your family. Because at the end of the day, however we play, the sun's still going to come up.
Yeah.
Just for me, my family is, really sacrificed a lot, for me at 30 years old to become a head coach in this county, and, everything that comes with that. I can't say enough about, how blessed I am, and just the opportunities, Dr. Harrell and, Stewart's Creek has provided for me. It's one I definitely want to make everybody proud with, and it's a heavy responsibility. But at the end of the day, I'm a blessed family man, and I think you understand that, having been a principal, and having that perspective, is definitely something that's guided me. And once again, I think there's a lot of opportunities, for our team moving forward, but we need to breathe out a little bit these next few days.
Well said, young man. I didn't know he was that young, but yeah, well said, young man. That's Ben Caudill, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks. This portion of the show is brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces. Online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craigstown.
Turn to Turner Security.
Hey, it's Brian, and we've relied on Turner Security for systems here at WGNS and Big GTV for many years. Their advanced security solutions with real-time monitoring and automation keep us safe. Plus, their expert IT service ensures our tech runs smoothly, from networks, computers to troubleshooting. Their team tailors solutions to our needs, and I highly recommend them for home or business solutions for you.
Turn to Turner Security.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday, we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
So what if your roommate decides to microwave a metal mixing bowl and set your apartment on fire? I'm State Farm Agent Ron Reeves. Auto, renters, frankly, any kind of insurance. I've got your back. Call me at 615-873-1700.
It's not just your home or car. I'm State Farm Agent Emerson Williams. We see your home and car as the time and memories that you put into it. Give me a call at 615-459-2683 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
Here's Dave Gober with First Mortgage, a department of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee.
Just like under the Friday Night Lights, winning takes teamwork. And when it comes to buying a home, I'm here to be on your team. From first downs to first homes, I'll help you move the ball forward and the loan options that fit your life. At First Mortgage, you're more than just a loan, you're family. So let's take the field together and open the door to your future home. Call me today, Dave Gober.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NLMS 401715.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
At the law offices of John Day, we take only real cases that make a real difference.
The law offices of John Day took the burden really off of my shoulders.
So if you think you're going to get rich quick with a frivolous case, I'm not the lawyer for you.
I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done so much. I know you went over and beyond.
If we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Rick Hall with Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna. Give Rick a call for auto, home, business, and life insurance needs. Find out more online at rayburn.net. And we have here from Rockville, the big city of Rockville. I was just down there just last night, just passing through. We got the head coach. That's going to be James Counts, and I think I've got him on the air. James Counts?
Yes, sir.
You're there. Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, a lot of people in that game the other night, you put some points on the board against Oakland, got off to a pretty good start.
Well, they actually got off to a better start than we did.
Well, yeah.
Kickoff back, but we proud of our kids and coaches, and we could have very easily kind of slid back in that other rut when they jumped up 14 on us. But our kids are we're still growing, and kids are getting better every week. We still hadn't played our best football, and we're continuing to grow through the year, and just proud of the way that they responded, in that situation, and came back and scored, and made it a ball game.
I think in Rockville too, with you guys, just trying to get a little more consistent, or putting 4 quarters together. To me, is that an accurate assessment?
It is very accurate. We talked about this a lot. We talked about it as we watched film yesterday. We got down inside there 23 times, had a drive there in the third quarter with 11 minutes, didn't get points out of that. I think we got to take that next step. Defense played great. We gave ourselves a chance. We drive down there in the third quarter, and we punched that in. It's a 1-score game, Coach Creasy's probably going to get a little nervous at that point,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we're still learning, and that's the next step, that some people say, here you are week 7 or whatever, you kind of are what you are at that point. I don't think that, because I think that the kids are still learning me, and these guys, we're still growing, we're still gaining and learning, and I don't think we played our best football yet, and what a better time to try to hit that right here, is this part of the season is to start playing your best football.
Well, Coach, if I were a bookie, I wouldn't want to bet against you in most games. I mean, it's kind of like you don't know what it's like opening up a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. And maybe that holds true for you guys too. You don't really know sometimes.
Well, that is true. And, got a bunch of young kids that are, and some of the guys that have played, they're still learning and getting reps. They hadn't had as many reps. They've had 5-6 games here, and that's why I think we're still in that mode of improving and guys feeling and learning their way around. RC had another great game the other night. Hamby did a great job making some plays there. Dallas Paldo had a very good game. We've got guys that are playing really well. Melvin Boone, defensively up front in the box, I think that, we can play with anybody. And, the offensive line, I feel like that we're growing. Those guys are learning me and the new things that we're doing. And like everybody knows, by getting the reps, that's the only way that you're going to get some of these things down. And we're accumulating those reps right now. And so look for that to get better.
You guys seem hungry to me. I mean, I see it in your approach. Your guys seem hungry. They want to win, and you can't always get that from teams, and that's a good problem to have.
Well, that was one thing that I felt when I came the first time and spoke with Mr. Luker, and not just the kids. That this whole Rockville community is that way. And so we're just getting started.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. And, like I said, these kids I can't sit here and tell you in this one setting of how far we have come, not on the field kind of issues or things, but as in young men and how we're supposed to operate and how we go about business. It's night and day.
Well, Coach, two people I want to mention. You mentioned RC and Jonathan Hamby. I'm going to make them co-winners of our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known. That's SRM Concrete. And Hamby and Chia both had great games. Hamby 22 of 33 for 265 yards, a touchdown, and he's been a steady influence for you guys. And RC has just been all over the place, and we were really impressed with him.
Faked another punt.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you now, he's a competitor, and he holds himself to a high standard. And he gets upset with himself at sometimes, but he took a few licks too. Just like we had a big hit on Arden Lewis there. That kid's a freshman. And jumped right up, and I didn't realize it was as big a lick as it was till I looked at it on film. But anyway, they come to play, and Jonathan is showing toughness. That he banged up a little bit. Everybody knows that now, and he has not missed a practice. Does extra things with the guys and throwing and those kind of things, and when you got kids like that, it just makes it a joy to coach them and be around them and to see them have success. That's why we do what we do.
And RC's got great hands. Melvin Boone, you mentioned him, had 7 tackles and a sack. Asangwe had rushed for 9 times for 88 yards. So I know you never want to lose, but I know you feel good about the effort there against Oakland.
we're not all about these moral victories. That's not what we want to win. It bothers us extremely when we don't win, and that's okay. And I think if that does, if it bothers you, you're going to get those things corrected. But I am very proud of my coaches and the way these kids went about this week. It was a short week. Did not bring them in on Sunday. Didn't think that was something that we need to do. So we got ready for Oakland on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Walked through, kind of bumped everything up a day, and just like I said, there was a time there in early in the game, like, okay, here we go again. One of those kind of things, and we kept chopping, and that's what it's about. And when you get your kids to do that, I can sleep well at night, knowing that we give it all we got. That's what we got, and I'm fine with that. And just proud of them for the way they came out and fought.
Amen there. You'll take a few days for fall break. How will that work for Rockville, the Rockets?
Rockville, we're going to come in on Thursday and Friday. In the morning on Thursday and Friday. I like to give them the first part of the week. I've done it a couple of different ways. I've not come in. I've come in 3 days. I've come in 4 days. I feel like where we are, the 2 days, let them have a little break, get away from us, reset, recharge batteries. We'll come in on Thursday and Friday and work on us. And then we'll get started for Tullahoma just like we always do on that next Monday. So,
and that takes care of some slight injuries or things that are just the normal aches and pains of football. And mentally, I guess it gets them away from the game a little bit to kind of refresh their head.
Yeah, just kind of get a reset. That's kind of what we get your batteries recharged and get in here and get ready for a very crucial part of the season. And everybody needs to get reset every now and then.
Well, this season
meet up for a couple of days.
Yeah, this season seems to have gone very quickly. First year at Rockville, has it gone quickly for you, or?
It has. It has. It seemed like just yesterday I got here in January, but it's gone fast, but I'm enjoying it and love this community out here, and they've taken me in and coaching these kids.
Now, you're going to be playing Tullahoma when you get back from break.
Yes, sir.
Little non-region action there, and I think that's kind of a good thing if you've got an opening in your schedule to do that. Is that a home game?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's here.
So that's another good thing coming back from fall break, to have one at home, I think. So a little more comfort level there for you. Coach, good luck against the Wildcats of Tullahoma. And keep doing what you're doing. How about that?
Yes, sir. That sounds good. We appreciate you guys.
All right. That's James Counts, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. Coming up next, Siegel Stars football.